Have any check-ins? November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha, checking in. The name is Anthony. 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
9 Hotel 1 Foxtrot Bravo Sierra. The name is Charles. 9 Hotel 1 Foxtrot Bravo Sierra.
This is VE3 Mike Papa uniform. Joining in, my name is Carmel, and I'm glad that I'm succeeding here a little bit. I'm learning. VE3 MPU. Just waiting.
Very good. I confirm 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha, 9 Hotel 1 Fox Bravo Sugar, and VE3 MPU. Any other check-ins for the 9H-HAM GlobalNet this evening?
Nine Hotel 1 Tango Lima, name is Chris. 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima, checking in.
Very good, Chris. Good evening to you as well. 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. Before I turn it around to Anthony, let's see if there are any other check-ins for the 9H-HAM GlobalNet this evening. Okay, hearing none, I'll take some check-ins a bit further down the line. And I hope that, especially on Malta, spring has sprung and the birds are singing. Actually, the snow is melting here today, so we're getting ready to meet spring, and the morning doves are singing, and the rabbits are out roaming around. So that's a good sign. 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Good evening to you, Anthony, and 7APW.
And 7APW, this is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Well, spring hasn't properly sprung, but let's say it is preparing to spring, right? With the same play on words. No, I mean, temperatures are rising, obviously, but they're not. I wouldn't call them springy yet, but we're getting there. And we have had 1 or 2 days which were particularly extra warm than one would imagine for a day in March. Yeah. Otherwise, we're still fixing up. Well, I am still fixing up some electronic issues following the 59H-HAM GlobalNet. So basically, we had some technical issues with the YouTube stream, but let's say they're 80% fixed. There is at the moment on YouTube, under another tab, a full stream, recorded stream of the net and of the interviews. So this weekend I'll be reorganizing a bit the YouTube channel, the way the videos are listed there. And I'll be updating the logs because I haven't got some backlog on. This is another good one. Backlog on the ham log. but I'll be updating those again this weekend. These are things I usually do on the weekend when I'm a bit sort of freer. Otherwise, we're fine. I think we had a very, very enthusiastic net last 2 weeks ago, the 15th one. Radio station where we broadcast with our radio were very enthusiastic, and they told us they received a lot of positive feedback from listeners. So I think we did raise some interest, and will be hopefully well, we're under discussions at the moment, but might be in a position to maintain some sort of similar activity on a perhaps somewhat longer term. So we're back to you, Net Controls. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Hotel 5 Fox Alpha with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet and 7 APW. Just in case anybody needs the information, the YouTube channel is, if you go on to YouTube and type in 9H-HAM or 9H-HAM, you'll find a recording of just about every net we've had, and other stuff too. Yeah, that was very nice, by the way, very good work. I sat there on my comfortable chair, or in my comfortable chair, I should say. Well, I was on it, I suppose, too, and listened to the whole net, the first and the second part. And even after all these years, I sometimes don't enjoy listening to my own voice, but I've gotten used to it, I suppose. It's the only one I have anyway. So it was very well done. It was very well presented. It was very well put together. I enjoyed being a part of it. There were a lot of people who contributed their time, their effort, information, and it all fell in place very, very nicely indeed. Again, if someone needs to listen to any of the nets that we've had in the past 2 years, just go to YouTube and look for 9H-HAM. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey Net Control Station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM Global Net. Let's pass it over to you, Charlie, and then we'll take some more check-ins before we go over to Carmelo. 9H1FBS with the 9H-HAM Global Net, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening from Malta. Good afternoon to you, Jerry, and also to Carmelo. Of course, I've already said good evening to Anthony, and also to Chris, who has joined us as well. Not too much to report from this side. On a personal level, I am, shall we say, very, very happy here. And when I close the window, it's nice and quiet, high. When I open the window, it's not so quiet. If it's not like 4 o'clock in the morning, then it's a bit more quiet. but I'm sleeping soundly and eating some nice food and enjoying myself. And I did spend more time in the balcony. So yes, the weather is getting better, although last a couple of days we had yesterday was very, very windy, and the weekend also was very, very windy. But today was quite a nice day. So that's it from me for now. M7APW, 9H1FBS with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet.
Very good, Charlie. Thank you for that. And I'm glad you're enjoying yourself and life in general. Are there any other check-ins for the 9H-HAM Global Net before I continue with the roster here? This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey standing by.
H1 Japa Lima Mobile. 9H-1 Japan Lima mobile.
Roger, Joe, 9H-1 Japan Lima, I got you. Anybody else before we continue down the list? All right, hearing none. Carmen, good afternoon to you in Canada. VE3MPU. Should I say I hope you got some of that snow? Nah, you're going to tell us all about it. VE3MPU with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. Good afternoon.
APW. Nsellimlek Biġarunelo, good afternoon. No, today it's a nice day. It's 8 degrees, at least it's above zero, and we're expecting rain during the night, continuing in the morning. So it'll clean up the streets here. There's a few snow still sitting on the embankment, and we're still enjoying the winter anyways. That's the best we can do. N7APW, well, my VE3MPU and the rest of you guys standing by.
Okay, very good, Carmena. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for coming and saying hello. How long have you been in Canada, Carm?
I've been in the ice country since 1967. I came here in June of 1967. Yeah, 1967, and I'm still here. I guess I just passed my 80th year. Thank God for that. I didn't know I'm going to live this long. Otherwise, I would have taken a little bit more care of myself. But anyways, that's the way life is. I enjoyed it, you know, and here I am. N7APW, on the echo link, let's put it that way.
Here, I'll help you out, Carmen. The 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Yeah, old habits never die. And I may have some time this evening, and we'll give a brief history of the MARIS net as well. Well, congratulations on your 80th birthday, and yeah, you must have done a bunch of right things because we're all still here, and that's all that counts. Very good indeed, and good afternoon, and thank you for coming in to check on the net. 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. Chris, how are you? It's been a while, and I hope you're doing well as well. 9H1TL with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Number 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. This is 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. Chris, thank you for hosting today's net. Good evening and good afternoon, everyone. Right now I'm expanding my rabbit cages since the weather is getting warmer, so I can finally get the rabbits out and they can enjoy some more sunshine rather than being inside. I kept them inside because it was a bit too cold this winter. I've been trying to get through the 9H GlobalNet through DroidStar. This is my second attempt at doing so. I did not manage to get through DroidStar. I do have a DMR ID, and I got a TGIF account because I think that might be required. I've made a post on the Facebook page, the 9H GlobalNet Facebook page. So I posted a question there. If anyone would care to give me some pointers, I'd gladly appreciate it. Back to net control, 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey from 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima.
Yeah, Roger, Chris, 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. I meant to say something in the last net, but it got very busy, and I apologize about that. But if you have some time after this net is over, I'll be more than happy to share with you how or what problems I came across in DroidStar and how they were resolved for me to be able to get to DMR and TGIF and everything else. So if you have time, that's fine. If not, we can do it some other time. I'm retired, so I have all the time in the world. I'll leave that up to you. I'll pass it back to you really quick, and please let me know. 9H1 Tango Lima with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
November 7 of Papa Whiskey from 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. Thank you very much. I reserve some time for it now. Thank you very much for the offer. Advice always appreciated. I'd really like to get onto the MR and try it out. Back to net control, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey from 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. Chris.
Chris, I'll be more than happy to help you, but we'll just do it after the net. I do have the time as well, and so it's not a problem, and maybe we can resolve that issue. All right, very good. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM Global Net. Good evening to you, Joe. It's nice to hear your voice as always. 9 Hotel 1, Japan Lima, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Okay, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, 9 Hotel 1 Japan Lima, and they are mobile. I'm doing the night drive right now. I'm driving my daughter for her errand over here. So it's a night drive also included in this day's list. Okay, very good. Very good there, guys. Nice to hear you all. Not usually I come on at this time, as you all very well know. Timing is a little bit, but I try to butt in sometimes. Hi. Right, a little bit of info about the photo presentation to the Monster Scouts last week. Well, it was 2 weeks ago actually. Day after the net was on, so it went very, very nicely there. And I was an invited guest, and we tried to get out of the way, but unfortunately they put us up front, and had to stay there and behave. Hi. But eventually time came when we presented the pictures and the videos there, and they had prepared also presentation, 5-minute presentation. I think it was something like that, of some of the previous events that we had done, and it was very, very interesting for all of them, seeing themselves, all youngsters and then grown up, especially the GSL, who in 2005 was still a youngster and was showing also in the pictures over there by the radio. And it was very interesting indeed. So now they've got a good collection of pictures so they can enjoy, and I'll keep providing them as long as I do the activity. The memory there to keep for everybody. Okay, very good. They've been playing around with the hotspot I managed to put up together also myself. I set it up for C4 FM there. They've been playing around, trying to make it work. It's working okay. But sometimes while I'm going around the station, it transmits by itself and connects to a station. So I have to sort it out somehow. Most probably I have to go into the setup again. But we'll have to find some time to do this. Back to you there, net controller, and good luck there also to you, Chris, there. With the droid system over there, quite handy when you're out and about there on your mobile. November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, 9H1 Japan Lima mobile.
Yeah, very good. I gave a brief pause, and I'm going to give another one so that all the timer is reset, and I won't get caught in a timer. So this is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, standing by. Okay, I think that's enough time for the timers to reset. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station, for this evening session of the 9H-HAM Global Net. Are there any other check-ins? Okay, I haven't heard anything. I saw some of those pictures that you put up, Joe, and you know, you're basically documenting history, and that's very important. I went in, and there are some websites. There are some websites that show old pictures of different localities in Malta. I was brought up in Birkirkara, so they were showing some pictures of the late 60s and early 70s, and I remember all that. So it's kind of nice to see those pictures again, and to remember how many times you went down that area and what you did, etc., and the movie theaters and everything else. And so it's very nice that not only you document this, but you preserve it and then gift it to a club or an organization for them to use it as part of the history of the organization. Very good indeed. So let me give another pause. Any other check-ins? Any other traffic for the net? November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. Okay, very good. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H-HAM Global Net. We were thinking that every net we'd have a topic that we choose and talk a bit about it, maybe for a few minutes, hopefully somebody different every time, preferably ham radio related, but not necessarily. We all have other hobbies. You know, someone like you, Joe, I know, has photography, and I'm sure some other hobbies as well. And to talk a bit about their other hobbies as well, and ham radio. And if anybody wishes to give it a shot, you know, there is no time limit, in the minimum of 5 minutes, maximum of 15. There really isn't. It just makes the net more interesting and colorful. And I thought tonight, unless anybody has any objection, I'll spend some minutes and talk about the MARIS net, the Malta Amateur Radio International Society net. So let me give a pause here. If anybody has anything else for the net, please come now. Any comments, questions, whatever, and we'll handle that first. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM Global Net. Standing by. I don't hear anything, so here goes this little blurb about the Malta Amateur Radio International Society. I had some recordings queued up just in case for the net that happened 2 weeks ago. There was quite a response to the net as far as check-ins, and before I knew it, I ran out of time. Not only did I run out of time, but I didn't even have enough time to say hello to everybody who had checked in, to which I apologize sincerely. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Anyway, the MARIS net. The MARIS net is the Malta Amateur Radio International Society net. It's been around for a very long time. I estimate that it was formed somewhere around the mid-70s. And the original thought was that of George Muscat, who lived in Canada, whose call sign was Victor Echo 3 Golf Nancy Mike. And at that time, there was no internet, there was no DMR, there was just HF. And so basically over the years, everybody who had an antenna and a radio and a license, of course, went out on HF. And needless to say, especially if you're Maltese in our case, if you hear some people talking on the air in Maltese, you kind of gravitate to that. And that's what happened to me. I remember listening to them first when I was still on Malta in the mid-'70s, and then after I moved to the United States in '78, somewhere around '79, I got my license, my U.S. license, and found them again. Let me give a pause here. Time propagation was fairly good, and so a dipole would get you places just like it does today. And then in my case, I built a tower and a beam, and other people had towers and beams. And as we all know, the most important part of your station is your antenna. And we used to meet. Actually, I didn't meet every day because I was still very young and not retired. But the MARISnet used to meet every day on HF. Depending on the propagation conditions is where they met. They had frequencies on 14297, 21397, and 21160, and on 28833, the 10, 15, and 20 meter band. And there was someone or some people from different parts of the world talking on the net, just like we do here. And it lasted quite a long time. And members came and went, and we had a newsletter. And we also have people who are still licensed hams around the world who still remember the MARISnet and remember how they got their license. I'm going to play an audio clip or two coming up, but let me give a pause and let me make sure I'm not timing out. And also let me make sure there isn't any traffic for the net. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Add to your comments, please, 9H-HAM.
Absolutely, go ahead. Who needs to add to the comment? Go ahead, please.
One Jeff Alima mobile there before I have to sign off there, Jerry. Yeah, regarding the MARISnet, yes, I started off my radio in 1987, and when I got my HF ticket there, I wanted to go mobile, and I got myself a Kenwood TS50, and I used to enjoy myself immensely there, talking on the net while I am out mobile. Every morning we had the net with the VKs. Joe, 9H1 Hotel Mike in Palma used to take care of that net every morning, and I used to go to work at the same time, and I was operating on the MARISnet in the morning with the VKs from my car there, and I used to get into Australia very, very nicely there, from 14 to 97, and we did enjoy ourselves. And in the afternoons there was the net for the States and Canada and the UK. So in the morning it was meant for VKs, more tattoo VKs, and in the afternoon around the 5 o'clock time, local time, it used to be run for stateside and Canada and the UK. So that's how we used to run. I used to also go on the net in the afternoons, also from my mobile station most of the time. I loved working mobile, still operate mobile. Still got my mobile set up in my car, so it's quite interesting there while you're out and about. but that's how interesting it is. And we still keep in contact there. Jerry said without internet, so it was very neatly done, to say the least. Okay, I'll make this my final with you, Jerry, and all the rest of the guys. It will be my great pleasure joining you this evening too. So you go on and play those tapes. I'm going to listen to those tapes somehow. So I've got to go and get my dinner now. So it's a bit late, but I have to do this errand over here. So over to you, Jerry, and good night to all. I'll be listening on the side. N78PW 9H1 Jeopardy Mobile.
Yeah, very good, Joe. 9H1 Japan Lima. And Charlie, my brother, reminded me that I think on 15 meters you also operated 21.160 to cater for the hams in Australia who didn't have the higher license at the time. Go ahead.
Meters running those. I'm not sure exactly the frequency. Can't remember that exact frequency there. But most of the time we used to run it on 20 meters in the mornings at least, and the afternoon it was run on 15 meters. That's for sure. So propagation was good then, and we didn't have too much problems. We did get problems with QRM from other stations sometimes, but we got along okay there. Jerry, go ahead.
Good, very good. Thank you for that. Here's a little audio clip, and this is let me find that. Where is that? There we go. Recording that happened about 2 weeks ago. My computer is slowing down. VK2HP. His name is Frank. He's lived in Australia a very long time. And here's his brief clip and what he had to say about how he got his license, etc.
My name is Frank Vella. Came to Australia in 1951. First club I joined was the Australia Amateur Radio. Then I joined the Maltese club that I can understand better. The teacher was Len Perment, VK2LP, silent K now. At the age of 60, get the first license, VK2VFL, was in June 1985. In 1987, got the full call, VK2FXV, being introduced to MARIS by Joe, VK5IQ, silent key. In February 1990, I applied for 2-letter call, VK2HP, had my license for 36 years.
And let me add that Frank is still very active. He joins the MARISnet twice a week. Incidentally, since we're talking about the MARISnet as well on the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, the MARISnet meets every Wednesday and Saturday at 2000 hours Zulu, 2000 GMT or UTC on Echolink, and we connect to Carmeno, VE3 MPU. So net control for the MARISnet is Carmeno, who is here today as well. His call sign is Victor Echo 3 Mike Papa Uniform, and the MARISnet still meets, and we just chit-chat on Echolink on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 2000 Zulu or 2000 GMT. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Are there any other checkers, any other traffic for the net? If not, I'll continue with my little presentation. Okay, very good. Hearing none, we were somewhere in the 80s and somewhere on HF, and a lot of people from all over the place by that time had good radios, and some of them had amplifiers, and a lot of the people had good antennas at their QTH, me included. Now I don't have anything for HF, but I enjoy DMR, and I've been enjoying it for the last 3 years. And to me, it's a lot of fun. But the HF bug is getting to me again simply because the HF bands and propagation are getting better and better. Unfortunately, like what happens in every other aspect of life, some of the members that were very active in the MARIS net have since passed away, but everybody has a lot of nice memories. I'm sure that those who were there remember that there were people from Canada, a lot of people from Canada, quite a few people from the U.S., and a lot of people from Australia. We also had a missionary in Kenya who used to check in regularly. In fact, I talked to his successor, who went to Kenya somewhere in the early 2000s. And he and I had a very nice conversation or two on this repeater, actually, about the most recent one was about probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and his call sign is 9 Hotel 1 Charlie Juliet. I think that's correct. He's Father John, and he's a Capuchin friar, and he is at Floriana. So that was, and he has a lot of nice memories, and he remembers, and he also emphasizes how important ham radio is in Kenya to bring you help when a telephone just doesn't work. So that was a very interesting conversation, and I'd like to invite him sometime to the net, and he can tell us all about it too. I think that would be an interesting topic. Anyway, let me pause and let the repeaters reset and the timers reset, and then I'll play another audio clip. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. I do have to let go before the timers reset. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. Now this is a ham, a Maltese ham in Australia, who's fairly new to the MARIS net and fairly new to the bands, but he is very interested, and his call sign is Victor Kilo 2, November Radio Golf. And here's what he has to say about his experience in ham radio.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Raymond Galea. I was born in Malta. Come here when I was born in Malta in 1964. Come to Australia in 1965. I was still a baby. And yeah, I became interested in ham radio in 2007. I used to be on CB radio before, and that's how I learned about ham radio. And yeah, I haven't stopped since. Very, very much enjoyed the radio. And my friend Alf, he put me onto Echolink and the MARIS net. Very, very happy with that. Very happy with that. He's a good man. That's VK2GAP. That's what I've been doing ever since, and very much enjoy the hobby and enjoy this club. I'm very new to this club, so it's all good. I'm learning every day a little bit. So okay, back to you there, Gary. N7ATW VK2NRG.
Okay, very good. That was Ray Gallia, and since he made that recording, he's actually become much more fluent in Maltese than he was 3 weeks ago when that recording happened. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. We're giving a small presentation of the MARIS net, the Malta Amateur Radio International Society net, that first started in the mid-70s and is still going on through today. I'll give a pause. Any check-ins, any other traffic questions, whatever. If I have the answers, I'll be more than happy to share them with you. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, standing by.
This is 9H5FA with a question.
Anthony, go again. What was the two-tone noise? I timed out the repeater.
N7APW, this is 9H5FA with a question, please.
I must have timed out the repeater. I apologize. 9H5FA and 7APW.
Seven APW 9H5FA. Do you copy? I copy you loud and clear. Do you copy? This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
The mic to you and 7APW.
7APW. Jerry, I just wanted to ask one thing. So, when the MARIS net was initially operating on HF, did I understand correctly? Did you communicate between the US and Australia? Wow. Did I get that right? And 7APW, this is 9H5FA.
Well, like Joe said, 9H1 Juliet Lima, there were two nets every day at different times of the day. And so let's look at it all from Malta time. In the mornings, Malta time, they used to get on HF and talk to Australia. And in the afternoon, Malta time, let me think about that. Yeah, in the afternoon, Malta time, I think that's right. Charlie, if I'm wrong, chime in. It's been a long time. But in the afternoon, Malta time, they would talk to the United States on HF as well. So there were two nets. And of course, you know, if I happened to be up perhaps around 11 o'clock or midnight my time here, and propagation was open, I could probably join the net between Malta and Australia and chit chat as well. Anthony, go ahead. Did I get that right, Charlie? Go ahead.
I don't think you could, because you have a different band plan, and we used to meet down on 21160, which I don't think was accessible to the United States. Go ahead.
Oh, well, then I used to listen, and you're right. 21160 was used because, but then when you were on 14 megahertz, 20 meters, or 10, we could all talk on the same frequency, right?
I find the button. Yes, that is an affirmative.
I remember checking into the Malta Australia portion of the MARIS net on 10 meters. Of course, conditions were beautiful, just like they're getting to right now. Anthony, I'll pass it over to you and 7APW with the 9H-HAM GlobalNet.
and 7APW, 9H-5FA. I was just amazed. I mean, having regular radio link crossing the globe in that way. Wow. I wonder what power on HF you used to transmit with. I mean, you're crossing the North Atlantic Sea, you're crossing the Indian Ocean, wow. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. Any idea what power you used to transmit on HF? And 7APW, 9H-5FA.
Yeah, Roger, 9H-1FA and 7APW returning. Well, as we said earlier, and as everybody knows, it's the antenna that gets you places. And so at the beginning I had a dipole, and propagation had to be pretty darn good, although it is right now as well. And then I got a 4-element tri-bander beam at 40 feet on a tower, and that 4-element beam with the 100 watts that was provided by a Kenwood TS440 was enough for me to be heard everywhere around the world as long as there was propagation. And we're talking, 5 and 8 and 5 and 9 and 5 and 9 plus 20. And then, there are certain disadvantages to a beam. For example, when I'd be talking to in the MARIS net, because at the time I lived in Texas, and Texas was right in the middle of the United States and in the southern part, I had to choose who to beam my antenna towards. If I turned it towards the east, I'd hear the guys in Florida and the guys in Canada. And if I turned it towards the west, I would hear the guys in California and some other West Coast places as well. And so, but overall, it was a lot of fun, and it wasn't as easy as Echolink would be. I mean, here we are. We're connected between Malta, the United States, and Canada right now. And on the MARIS net, when we meet on Echolink, there are people from Canada, the U.S., the UK, and Australia, all in the same group and hearing each other. So times have changed, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun, and we just chit-chatted, and just like any other net, you get to be friends with people and check on them and make sure they're doing okay, and talk about anything and everything that's ham radio related and covered by general knowledge under the sun. Let me give a pause here. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey Net Control Station for this evening's edition of the 9H-HAM Global Net. I'll pass it over back to you, Anthony. Anybody have any other questions or comments? Please let me know. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey standing by.
And 7APW, 9H-5FA. Thanks, Diddy. Yeah, I wonder, I mean, today, if you want to go on HF and you want to sort of call CQ, there are websites where you can advertise yourself that you're calling CQ on a particular frequency, and sort of people can come in. They don't have to, turn a little dial, little by little, along an HF band. How did it amazes me? I mean, how did you do it? I mean, obviously, okay, you agreed on particular frequencies and particular times, but well, I'm not exactly an HF guy, so I'm not very. I do have an HF transceiver here, but it's not something which I use on a regular basis. But yeah, I'm still amazed how you can get across the distance with 100 watts, basically. But Um, this was in a time where long distance calls, telephone calls were terribly expensive, and well, it's amazing. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at a map at the moment, Jerry. I've got a map. I've got the world map in front of me, and I'm just looking at the distances. Yeah, back to you, net control. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Yeah, very good, Anthony. 9H5FA with 9H-HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey. Well, Charlie, 9H1FBS, and I have been talking on through via ham radio for at least probably 40 years now, Charlie, I think. And we talked a lot on HF, and now we do Echolink, and now we do DMR. And so I don't even know what the bill would be if I had to tally all the long distance calls that I didn't have to pay for to keep in touch with my brother. And I'm sure he agrees. And it would be a big, big bill. And it, you know, it wasn't the primary purpose. He is the one who pushed me to get my license, and then he got his, and we've never looked back. So it's very interesting indeed. And you know, I think back, and we had a little advantage. And the little advantage was this, that, you know, let's say we agree to meet on 15 meters on 21397. And the agreement was 21397 plus or minus, depending on whether someone else is occupying that frequency. Now, the advantage was this. The MARIS net was always held in Maltese. And so when you're scanning the dial close to the agreed frequency, it's a lot easier to pick up somebody speaking Maltese than it would be looking for someone speaking in English. And so, you know, I used to go to the frequency, and if it was occupied, I'd go up and down a little, and at some point, very soon, you'd hear conversations in Maltese. And that made life a lot simpler. This is, I think I have time for another clip. I don't want to bore you guys, but let me give a pause to get everything to reset, and then I'll update the rest of my little presentation, and we'll go from there. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, standing by. Okay, so after HF, somewhere in the mid-90s or late 90s, we discovered Echolink, and Echolink is nice in a way. Obviously, it's depending on the internet, but it doesn't depend on propagation conditions. And there were quite a few times, especially when the propagation was not good. We're all aware of the 11-year sunspot cycle. If the sunspots are high, then propagation is great, like it's getting to be right now. And then 5.5 years later, you can barely carry on a conversation on HF. Of course, a beam helps, and maybe power helps as well. But still, you were kind of stuck to whatever propagation gave you at any point in time. When it's good, you celebrate, and when it's bad, you wait for the next opening. So then Echolink became a very nice tool for us because as long as you have an internet connection and as long as people show up, you can talk to them like we do today. You know, honestly, if it wasn't for Echolink and the link between Echolink and the 9H1 UHF repeater, I wouldn't be able to be net control as much as I enjoy it, but, you know, that's the way it goes. So we're now at a point where we meet on Echolink twice a week, as I said, and we keep in touch with each other. And I'm going to play a clip now after I give applause, but let me give applause first because I don't want to time out the repeaters. One moment, please. Play a clip now from Tony, 9 Hotel 1 Golf Charlie or Golf Zero Alpha Fox Bravo. Tony's been around quite a bit. In fact, you know, I got my first license in 1974 on Malta, and my call sign was 9 Hotel 1 Echo Fox. At that time, they used to issue them sequentially. And so Tony is 9 Hotel 1 Golf Charlie, and there isn't that much of a jump between Echo Fox and Golf Charlie. So I'm assuming Tony got his license, if I had to guess, somewhere around 1976, and he may mention that in his clip. So I'm going to give a 15-second pause to make sure that the timers are reset, and play Tony's clip in 2 parts because it may be over 3 minutes. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet, talking about the MARIS net. About Okay, very good. Here's a clip from Tony that was made about 3 weeks ago for a special program, but we unfortunately ran out of time. Right now he is in England, and so I labeled his clip as Golf Zero Alpha Fox Baker. Here we go. There will be a pause during the clip so that we can reset the timers.
My name is Tony Muscat, and my Maltese call sign is 9 Hotel 1 Golf Charlie. I got my license in Malta in I think it was 1975. The MARIS net was, of course, opened by George VEGNM back in about 1973, about way before I made my license. And my brother Joe, I think those days was WB8CUO, Charlie United Oscar. But then he went to California and it was WA6CXD. And he used those days, we didn't have internet, no internet, only communications with cassette recordings. And he introduced me to the amateur radio. The first time I heard about amateur radio was about 1974, 1973, 1974, and that's why I made my license. And then I came to UK in 1984, and I have the call sign here of Golf Zero Alpha Foxtrot Beta. And that's how I am now. And now Echolink was introduced, of course, way after, and the MARIS moved to Echolink when we didn't use radio anymore. So we then started using Echolink, and we're still doing up to this day. We still meet on Echolink. We've been using it for a very, very, very long time. On HF, I did RT2Y, radio teletype, and we used to meet on, I remember, 10 meters, 15 meters, and 20 meters. The 10 meters was one of the best. We used to meet almost every day. It used to be a very, very nice group. We used to meet on 10 meters. When 10 meters is not good, we used to meet on 15 meters. And that was a hobby. I used to use a Hustler here, 3-element beam. That's how we used to meet. We used to have a big groups from Australia, from all over the world, England, Malta, you name it. When we used to meet on radio those days, on the air, we used to use 10 meters on 28.833. Remember, we used to, when it opens, of course, 10 meters was a beauty when it used to be, the propagation was open. We used to also then meet on 15 meters, which was 21.397. and which was also not bad, you know. And then, of course, we also used the 20 meters, 14.297. Was a bit crackling and stuff like that, but still, it used to be absolutely fantastic. Okay, that's about it, Jerry. So back to you, my friend. N78PW, G0 Alpha Foxtrot Baker. Go ahead, Jerry.
Alpha Papa Whiskey Net Control Station for this evening's session of the 9H-HAM GlobalNet. Very good, Tony. Thank you for that. I should have just left it up to Tony. He covered it all nicely and concisely. Very good indeed. Any questions or anything else for the net? And thank you for listening as well. But I thought it was interesting. History is kind of interesting. As we were talking with Joe, 9 Hotel 1 Juliet Lima, and the photographs that he presented, it is a part of history, and it is there, and it's nice to go back and even look at pictures. You know, like Joe said, they were kids at the time, and they grew up, and you know, I see a picture of myself when I was a kid. It's like, really? Is that me? This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H-HAM Global Net. Anything else for the net? Any additional check-ins? And 7APW standing by. Okay, hearing none, I'd like to thank everybody for your attention and for joining the net. I had a total of 6 check-ins. I'd like to invite everybody to check in again in 2 weeks' time at 8 p.m. Central European Time. And I'd like to thank everybody who makes this net possible because we surely enjoy it. I hope everybody has a good evening. 73s for now. And we'll talk to you very soon. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H-HAM Global Net is clear.